Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit to do and welcome into more important issues. It is Sunday, February 19th. What a weekend. I mean that in the probably worst way possible, but I'm not going to try to not be overly negative. I really am.
It was a sad day. It was a bad day.
Yes. This weekend was worse than pooping your pants as a 27-year-old man, for sure. If I am negative, I'm going to try to be funny about it. It just wasn't a fun weekend. It wasn't a good weekend to be a Vol. You did get that salvaged a little bit today, but you didn't even really get to watch it. I would not call that viewing by any means. Thanks. Shout out to the announcers. I thought they were good, and I probably wouldn't have not have watched it if they weren't good. So shout out to them for carrying the broadcast, whatever that was.
Yeah, MLB, do better.
That was pitiful.
That was pitiful. I mean, I thought like Tennessee versus, no offense to Alabama State, but Tennessee-Alabama State should not have a way better broadcast than something on MLB.com.
Just a score bug would have helped. That's it.
Yeah.
Like when I walked away, I came back. I mean, you just kind of never know in baseball. I go to the bathroom. 2 outs could have occurred for all I know. And I have no idea what's happened in the game. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah,
when you're tweeting out the score, you kind of second guess it when it's not there in front of you.
Yeah, and then you have Saturday, or CBS just adding 3 points just for the heck of it. So you really never know. A scorebook may not even tell you sometimes.
Yeah, Tennessee was screwed from the get-go.
Tennessee did get good news on the football front, and we'll talk about that. 4-star in-state commit, so that is some good news as well. Here's the thing. Here's my positive spin on this. I really cannot remember. I haven't thought too hard, but it didn't just pop up immediately the last time Tennessee had a bad weekend like they had this weekend. So that's good.
Yeah. Nothing went like, at least like you mentioned, baseball kind of got it back a little bit, and then football. I almost wore my God Bless Football shirt, but I thought that was too negavolish, so I didn't.
No, I think everyone's ready to drop the everything school after this weekend. So I think you would have just been right on track with the rest of the fan base. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm going to support. I mean, we talked about it sitting there at Fieldhouse after the game. Just we'll be back, and that kind of stinks, but we'll be back 100%. Come this week and for baseball and basketball. So don't worry, we'll be around. You'll get our money, you'll get our time, you'll get our emotional investment as well. So don't worry about that. But yeah, we're going to talk about it all. Unfortunately, we are going to talk about it all. Before we do get into the show, Underdog, they're the best in Knoxville. Best sports collectible store with a wide selection of UT cards, autographs, and memorabilia. Whether you're looking for a Peyton Manning autographed helmet or the most recent Topps baseball card release, you'll find it at Underdog. The shop is owned by UT graduates and proudly supports UT sports by hosting NIL events throughout the year. Stop by the University Commons Shopping Center next to Publix and Domino's to check them out. They're open 6 days a week with live YouTube shows 3 nights per week. Guys, make sure you're following them on social media. We talked about those NIL events. They also do trade nights. Underdog's great, not only for the collectible person who can do these trade nights, the person that collects these cards and other things, but also the common fan. So maybe you want to get into it. Trade night's an excellent way to do that. So make sure you're following along for all their events and updates. Remember to always bet on the Underdog. Shout out to Underdog Collectibles, the best in the business.
Love those guys.
Absolutely. I feel like you can hear the sadness in my voice, and I'm so sorry. I just
Yeah.
don't know how to be excited right now. I'm working on it. But going to Rupp Arena and putting on that kind of performance, it's just pitiful. I don't necessarily expect to win in Rupp. It is a place that is difficult to win at, even when this is one of the worst Kentucky teams in God knows how long. It's still going to be a difficult place to win. So it's not that I expect 100% that you should just flat out win, period, end of story. But that performance was pitiful.
Well, that's the worst part about it is that you got swept this season to a bad Kentucky team. And in the past, you've either swept Kentucky or it's 1-1. But this team, I feel like it should have been a team you swept, and you got swept. So yeah, just not especially after the showing against Alabama. I mean, it just doesn't. Again, that's the kind of thing with this basketball team is they just don't make sense.
No, you cannot make sense of this team. We've talked about it all throughout the year. They're a team that could beat just about anybody in the country and lose to just about anybody in the country. It's absolutely baffling, and for that reason, I do love the people who tell you these games in the regular season don't matter when they win, and then when they lose, they tell you that the season's over and they won't do anything. I do find that very interesting, but yeah, I don't know how you could bet on this team to win in March, but I'm also like you. Maybe if you feel like the bad luck charm, maybe you can't bet on this team to lose either. So I really don't know what to make of them. I don't expect a deep run at all. I don't know if I expect a run at all.
Yeah, I mean they made half as many 3-pointers that we shot, and they shot almost 20 less than what we did. So that tells you kind of that's how that game was. It was just ugly from the get-go. Like we're 9 minutes in and they'd scored like 8 points.
Something pitiful. I don't know off the top of my head.
It's like, what is going like? We were watching it with a Kentucky fan, and they were kind of saying like this is like a disgrace to college basketball.
And he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, it was awful.
At all. I kind of thought that for the full 40 minutes too.
Yeah. 19 points in the first half you're just not going to win very many games. And I felt like it was kind of over, even though like Tennessee did kind of make a run there in the second half, but I just didn't think we had the offensive capability to come back from a 20-point deficit in one half. They did make it interesting, but again, it was a little too much there in the end.
Yeah, it was never in reach. Like you said, you get on an offensive run, but you never could get it within reach.
Right.
It was always impossible, and that's what happens when you don't make any shots and when you shoot poor from the free throw line. You missed 10 free throws, you lost by 12.
Yeah, it's a completely different game. I mean,
and I'm not asking you to make all 10 of those, by the way. I'm not asking you to make all 10, but I'm asking you to shoot better than 28% from the free throw line.
Well, if you make all 10, I feel like Tennessee wins that ball game.
Oh, yeah. But listen, I'm not asking you to go 100%. That's not what I'm doing.
I am.
But better than 28.
Especially if you shoot 28%, next game you better go for 100.
That is hard to disagree with. I mean, and it's just incredible. And it wasn't just, one guy that shot poor from the line. At everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. And you also got out rebounded. I mean, you didn't have as many turnovers as them, but you turned it over 8 times. It just wasn't good. A disgrace to basketball. I think that should be the way you frame this game forevermore.
When it's like you want to kind of use that, we didn't have Julian, we didn't have Josiah, but then you beat Alabama, you beat the number 1 team in the country without those guys, and then you just laid an egg in Rupp Arena. It's just frustrating, and I don't know what Mashack was kind of the bright spot, but then you look at his free throws, he was 1 for 5.
Right.
I don't know. It just, 3 points from our bench is just not gonna get it done. I mean, I feel like we can only play really 5 or 6 guys with those 2 gone, and it's just, Zakai and Santi are exhausted. They are dead tired in the, toward the end of the second half because they are the only offense that we bring.
Yeah, no, And that's another thing. Is
How is Kumar have such a bad shooting percentage when he's a post player?
Because every time he gets the ball, he shoots it.
I mean, it's unreal. How are you 3 for 9 and the majority of your shots are in the paint? That's a stupid question because we literally shot 4 for 14 from the free throw line. They're literally called free throws, and we shot 28% from them.
Yeah. No, it's frustrating. And at this point, again, I'm not trying to be negative all because I'm going to root for this team no matter what. But it's one of those, kind of look in the mirror. But I hope they kind of have to say it and then find a way to make it not true. But what do we do to fix it right now? I don't know. Because every time it feels like you take a step forward, you take 2 or 3 steps back.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer is. It can't be. You can't rely on. You have no bigs you can rely on. I mean, none. Jonas Adu looks pretty good against Alabama. Not that he looked bad yesterday, but it's like you can't go to him in situations. You can't find him down low. You better not throw it into Kumwa because he's a black hole in the paint.
Yeah.
Urosh is worthless on the offensive end. Tobe Awaka, not much better. Actually, not better. I shouldn't say not much, not better. I don't know. And then, like you mentioned, you can never ask. They can't carry you for 40 minutes every single game, Vescovi and Ziegler. It's impossible. And yeah, they might be your go-to guys, but they can't be there for 40 minutes. And we can hate Vescovi all I've seen that float around, whatever. He's not winning you ball games, but a one guard can't win you ball games. Like, that's never going to happen.
Also, what does this team look without
Santi?
Really.
Right. Jamal Mashack, thank God we had him the last 2 games. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well,
I don't want to imagine.
He's kind of the same pattern that this team falls in. It's just like he was 0 offensive production. And then, against Kentucky, maybe it's the same thing. It's something about Kentucky because Urosh did the same thing earlier in the year when he played him the first time. So I don't know where that came from, but if he can find some sort of offensive game, I feel like he should be a starter or first guy off the bench. If he's giving you that much defensively, if he can give you something on offense, I think you got to go to him. Especially with the 2 out right now. 100%.
Going to Mashack?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's your star. He's got to be in the starting 5 with those 2 out.
I don't understand why we play like maybe the starters. I don't know what that lineup, how long they're actually play together, but I don't understand why we have 2 post players at the same time. Maybe it was just a matchup with Oscar, but like you said earlier, they're just there's no post presence.
And maybe you get away from that if you get Josiah back healthy or even just Julian Phillips back healthy. Right now, though, don't you kind of have to? Aren't they kind of your best 2 next up?
Yeah.
So, you are forced into an ugly hand by injuries. But I think you do have to. I think you have to play Kumwa and Adu, and I don't know if I love that. I don't think I could start Key with Vescovi and Ziegler on the floor, and it's Mashack. I don't think you could do that. And then 1 big.
What about when they come back?
I think you could throw Josiah in there for Kumwa or Josiah in there for Adu and make Kumwa just play the 5. I don't maybe, but
yeah.
I would feel better about that than starting someone like Tyreek Key in that lineup.
Kentucky shot 35 free throws. How does that even happen?
And they didn't shoot that great from the free throw line either.
No.
This is just thinking about that game has me irrationally angry. So I'm probably I'm going to start rambling and yelling. And we talked about it. This is why we can't do hot takes right after the game. They're just, I'm not saying they're wrong, but they're aggressive for sure. So I'm trying to avoid that. But yeah, it's you have a lot to fix. You only have 4 games left in the regular season, and then it is. it's not that your season's over in Tampa, but it is a win or go home tournament in that sense. And I know some people are talking about, do we just who cares if we win the SEC? But you got to start winning at some point and consistently winning. So go and play in Tampa. And I mean, I don't think you can win it all, but why not try? And I don't know. It's so frustrating. If you don't win in Tampa, you're not going to win in the NCAA tournament. So just go.
We do have a question in the chat, and if you do have any questions, please drop those in the chat. How much money did you spend at the Vol shop yesterday?
$0.
That product on the court didn't, sway you to just pop in and see what they got?
We were 0-3 before 2 p.m. today. So yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I got enough orange.
I feel that.
I got enough orange to be sad.
And it's funny. I was telling you this while we were watching the game, but I literally shot 10 free throws just to see how many I could make in a row. And I went 9 for 10. And this college basketball team just went 4 for 14.
And there's two reasons for this. Or one of two reasons. Either one, you're just atrociously bad at shooting. Or two, you were mentally weak. Neither is a good thing.
That's a good point, yeah.
28% is the most unacceptable number I've ever heard for free throws.
Yeah.
The most unacceptable number I've heard.
Yeah, I think Tennessee, especially now, we do have depth issues. And when you take into account that we do play good defense, we get up in people's face, we tend to get in foul trouble at times. If we get in foul trouble with who we have out right now, it's slim pickings on that bench.
Yeah.
I mean, BJ Edwards played 2 minutes, didn't play very much, but, he was nowhere to be found a couple months ago. And now he's at least seeing the floor.
But I mean, he only played 2 minutes, so you're splitting so much there. I mean, there's a lot of guys having to play a lot of minutes right now. And you mentioned, you have Mashack fouled out, and did Adu? No, Adu didn't end up fouling out. So, but you got plenty of guys with 4 and 3 and 4 fouls, and you did get more fouls called on you. I didn't think there were a few questionable calls, but I didn't think it was overall atrocious by any means. It was college basketball officiating. Yeah. That's so. I guess it is atrocious, but not more atrocious than normal,
right? I
should say.
And Zakai didn't have a good game. I feel like if for Tennessee to win basketball games, especially now, Santi and Zakai have to have good games. If they don't, I feel like Tennessee loses.
Yeah, at least you did have Mashack pick up Zakai's scoring, but
yeah, the distributing, he had 3 turnovers, 3 assists, Zakai did. So just not his normal output. We're talking about the Alabama game. Neither one of those guys had a single turnover. And yesterday they combined for 5. So
I just don't you gotta be so hyper focused. Kentucky's a rivalry game. You all stood in the north end zone and talked trash to every away fan that traveled to Neyland, from Lexington to Neyland. And then you put on that kind of performance in Lexington. That's unacceptable.
Agreed. If you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk.
That is the game you have circled on your schedule after that. We're going to come to Rupp, and we are going to beat the living shit out of you. That's the thought when you leave the stadium that day and do that. And you did the opposite.
Especially if you lose to them at home.
I cheered so hard when they did that. That was awesome. Now I'm embarrassed. You embarrassed me.
That's a great point. I forgot all about that. I wish I did. I wish you didn't bring it up now. So I hate you for that.
I remembered it. I think Urosh led the charge for that too. Urosh, you got to get it together, man. I will root for you. I love the passion you play with, but if you're gonna talk the way you talk, you got to figure something out, man. Either shut up or play. I don't know what to tell you.
I like it.
I love attitude.
I
love
think I
attitude.
did say it after we beat Alabama that, hey, when you score 10 points and you beat the number one team in the country, you can talk.
You can. No, absolutely you can.
But you can't score 2 points and lose at Rupp Arena and talk.
0 for 3 from the free throw line. Dylan said it. I do think there's a mentally weak aspect to this team. I really do. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, not that we were shooting great from the free throw line before you see Vescovi miss 2 what could have been game winners, or game, I guess, nail in the coffin type shots. But it just feels like it's gotten significantly worse since that moment. So I don't know if you just see your best shooter not be able to do it, and that's morally deflating. I have no idea. I don't know. 28, I'm going to keep coming back to that because that is in my opinion, just the, I guess, archetype. Like that is what, again, would not have won you the game. But when you do that, you will not win.
Yeah. I mean, like, if we're shooting 4 for 14 from the free throw line, why do we think that we can shoot 27 threes and have a good percentage out of it?
And you got to shoot. That's the second part. Maybe we should lobby.
Maybe that's why we don't go to the rim, because we're scared we're going to be put at the free throw line.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking we lobby the NCAA to turn off the shot clock and we just take games, 13, and see what happens. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Or maybe just give them the ball so they can't get out and run. We just play good defense. The only way we score is if we get on a fast break.
I think I am at the point of free throws, just roll them to the end line so you can get back on defense. They can't rebound and get out in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat. So maybe you just do that in totality of offense. Just hey, listen, we'll even let them check it up. We'll just check it up from the top of the key on the defensive end of the court.
You just play half court.
Yeah, I mean, our full court defense is pitiful, which blows my mind. How is our full court defense so bad?
Somebody's always open.
Always open. It's easy to break. When it looks like you have them trapped, I don't know what happens. It's just not good. Not good at all. And listen, Rick Barnes is obviously responsible. He's the head guy. He is the end all be all of the problems, but you cannot convince me anyone on this basketball team is bad enough that 28% will ever make sense from the free throw line, that 22% will ever make sense from 3. You can't convince me that. They're playing basketball at one of the highest levels of college basketball. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, and in this point in the season, your record is who you say you are. Like 9-5 in the conference, you're a middle of the tier conference basketball team. That's what you are right now. Who cares if you beat Alabama? That's college basketball. There's upsets.
To be fair, I think every team. That's the good news. That's the spin zone. I think every team in college basketball is a middle tier college basketball.
Well, yeah, everybody's a fraud, especially if you get the number 1 ranking beside your name. Fraud.
Yep. So that's the good news. We'll spin zone that real quick.
I mean, Kentucky now is ahead of you in the conference.
That's what pisses me off the most, man. If there was a year to make a run playing good defense, this is the year. But you can't get it done on the offensive end. You just
have to do enough on offense. You don't have to be good on offense at all. You just can't be piss poor, and Tennessee is piss poor on offense.
You have now lost 3 games, holding teams to 66, 67 points. 4 games. That's pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. I hate everything.
Tennessee plays Texas. I think is it at home?
No, it's at Texas A&M. And now you got to go, not only is your offense bad, in one half of the game, you're going to have to play 6 defenders because Buzz Williams is going to be on the court. So it doesn't get any easier this week.
Yep. And they're 12-2 in the conference.
And they're not a bad they kind of – I think they're better. I told you, I think Mississippi State is a team that can kind of beat everybody. Oh, they'll lose by 20, obviously, to Tennessee. But, I mean, they've played some good games in SEC play. That's kind of what this A&M team reminds me of. They're not excellent by any. They're very beatable, but they'll beat you.
Yeah, and they've won 5 in a row. They beat Georgia, Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, and Missouri. But they have in those 5 games, 4 of them, Wade Taylor has been the leading scorer. So if you stop him, you probably beat A&M. But I mean,
Well,
there's
that's
no
not
way
true.
this. Well, there's
They
no
can-
way this
they-
is a good game. It's
No,
going to be
I mean-
ugly.
They can score 65 points and win. I mean, they don't need a guy to go off.
It's sad. We had such high expectations.
I regret it all. But I mean, this isn't, and we'll get into baseball, and then a lot of people are, talking Tennessee's overrated. It's a preseason poll. Like, they're only as overrated as you allowed them to be. In fact, I mean, Tony Vitello said that was a high ranking for this team.
Oh, yeah.
But this basketball team put the expectations on themselves. I mean, they went to Arizona and got into a good game with them, and I mean, that was a road game. They lost. I know Maryland's not a great basketball team, but at the time, number 13 in the country, you beat them. You beat Gonzaga in an exhibition game. You beat Kansas, neutral court. You beat USC, who had a lot of talk around them at the time. I mean, yeah, they did it to themselves. They opened conference play, beating everybody's brains in. They beat number 10 Texas. I mean, they beat number 1 Alabama. Like, they put the expectations on themselves, and it has been a massive letdown.
Yep, agreed. The only reason why, I feel like it's not being kind of put out there more is just because North Carolina was the preseason number 1 team, and now they're not even going to make the tournament. So
I love that it does make this year a little bit easier that North Carolina and Duke are just not good. That makes it.
Well, you want to hear something else that probably, makes that even worse? Kentucky's not good either, and we lost twice.
Yeah, well.
Okay, let's get to something.
It's not going to get better from here, Landon.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You decide.
We gotta go into something else.
You decide.
Yeah, let's talk baseballs a little bit. You did get the win today. Went 1-2 in Arizona. I think the most frustrating part is just watching fans have a complete meltdown on Twitter about this baseball team. Oh my God, they lost to Grand Canyon. I've never even heard of Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon was in a regional.
You've never heard of Grand Canyon?
Yeah, I guess that's we can do a whole podcast probably on stupidity. But
first off, Grand Canyon
this weekend.
Grand Canyon spams everybody's email if they're online school all the time. You should have at least heard of the school.
True. But yeah, that's the most frustrating part is people just Arizona was in a regional last year, lost to Ole Miss, who ended up winning the whole thing. Grand Canyon was in a regional. We played them at their home park. I'm not taking up for it. It was disappointing.
It's disappointing.
Sure.
It's frustrating. It sucks. But I said it last night to someone before the game was even over. But it looked. No, we watched it end. I guess we watched it in before we went to Old City. But yeah, it's not panic button time, but it's frustrating and it's sad.
Yeah.
But and we put I put a lot of expectations on this team in the sense of there is a lot of talent. You do return your entire weekend rotation. Pitching was not your problem this weekend by any means, which is silver lining, good news on that side. And I put a lot of expectations because there's a lot of talent. But if you told me, they lost one game this weekend, I'm not shocked. They lost one game. I think Pav said it. You lost one game last weekend to open up in Houston. So, yeah, it's not far-fetched that this could happen. I think there's a lot to fix. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's one of those where you just flat out got beat, where a team was just on it. I think you hold a lot of blame to that too. So, yeah, it sucks. Yeah. It's frustrating. There's 50 games left.
Yeah, those 2 games, you didn't have 2 of your best players. We'll get into the Maui thing in a second, but Griffin Merritt had to sit out those 2 games. He was an AAC Player of the Year. He's not just some random transfer in from Cincinnati. He's a really good player, really good hitter in that lineup. I'm not saying that if you have both those guys, you beat Arizona and Grand Canyon. I do think you beat Grand Canyon. I think if you don't make the errors that you do that cause 2 runs, you win that game. I mean, obviously. So, I mean, things you got to fix. Errors, one thing. And when people are on base, you got to hit the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we're 4 for 18 at one point with runners on base. I mean, it just got to be better. Strikeouts were an issue this year or, this weekend. So that, that's got to get fixed. It's just weird because like there is so much talent, but when you also think about it, like a lot of these guys, they haven't played together. Like it wasn't like
we talked about that Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, these guys have played some, but none of these guys have played weekend series yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take some getting used to. That 2020 team, going into 2021, you returned pretty much everybody. And then the next year, you returned Drew Gilbert, a Jordan Beck, Evan Russell, Luke Lipsius, tons of guys. And, kind of that whole bullpen was still there. Camden Sewell, Redmond Walsh. And now, like, from that 2021 to now, it's a completely different roster. Like, the only person that had really any impact in that 2021 was 2 guys, Kirby and Camden.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Booker played very little. But other than that, like, it's a completely different team. So it's going to take some time to – that was a big question mark for me is like who is going to take on that leadership role because it's brand new territory. You don't have a solidified leaders on this team from, people having COVID years or people just returning that were stars of the season before. You just don't have that.
Yeah, and I think getting to play a lesser opponent in San Diego, and then you got Alabama A&M this week. I mean, hopefully that can kind of settle some guys in, kind of ease in. You heard plenty of good stuff in fall ball, so I am kind of hoping that maybe it'll just take some time to – you mentioned not playing together. Take some time to mesh and glue down. And hitting's got to get better. Unfortunately, for the most part, that's not really something that can be fixed by playing with each other. So, that'll be interesting to see how it turned around. 7 runs today, that's good. I mean, you see Blake Burt just, I think, an absolute bomb. I couldn't see it. The zoom function wasn't that good on that camera.
Apparently, it was far.
Right. The announcers said it was far, so I'm taking them at their word. But yeah, so you did get to see that kind of come around, and that's good. And you do have plenty of time for SEC play, so that's the good news. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather have the pitching kind of solidified because I feel like bats come and go, but the pitching, you're always going to be in a game if your pitching is good. Mm-hmm. And Tennessee's pitching was as advertised, and it's pretty crazy to think about. Yeah, your weekend rotation shoved it the entire weekend. Only 5 earned runs the whole weekend. That usually means a sweep when that happens.
Right.
But having guys like Seth Halverson, Andrew Lindsay, Zach Joyce, who hasn't pitched in over a calendar year, it's pretty insane, like how those 3 guys looked this weekend.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then love to see it from your starters. Kind of just expectations are high for them, and rightfully so, and they don't miss a beat.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Dolan ran into a little bit of trouble in the first inning on Friday, but after that, I mean, he did give up a home run. But when you're throwing that hard, if a guy's putting a barrel on it, it's probably going out, and that's exactly what happened. The bottom of Tennessee's lineup has to be able to produce something. They don't have guys 1 through 9 that can hit bombs like last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to be able to produce some way. There's a lot of missed opportunities with bunts, and people in scoring position can't move them because you strike out. Like it's just uncharacteristic from a Tennessee team that we're used to these last couple of years. And, I think part of that is just, number one, you're trying to figure out like where everybody's at. You didn't really Dylan Dreiling and Reese Chapman. I think they got 3 at-bats between the two of them all weekend. I'm interested to see, like, if people don't start producing, where do these freshmen kind of come up and, do they get more opportunities to see if they can just ball out? Kind of like Jared Dickey was just, came out of nowhere pretty much last year.
Right. No, it wasn't fun. Well, not a fun weekend.
Yep.
I don't know what else to say about it. That was
also
don't get me wrong, it's frustrating. I'm not trying to hit panic button. I'm not trying to act like season's over. But I'm sure just like every guy on that roster, I would like to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you beat Grand Canyon, I don't like college baseball is college baseball. Like, it happens. So I don't think anybody's really batting an eye. But the fact that you lose Grand Canyon, which is a good baseball, like Jacob Wilson is a top 10 pick, and he showed it. They faced that lefty who is Markle, who's pretty good. They brought in their best starter out of the bullpen to pitch against Tennessee. So Tennessee, you have that number 2 ranking, you're getting everybody's best. You got a target on your back. That's another thing. This team isn't used to being the hunted. Most of these guys have never been in that situation. Kansas, I know Maui Huna didn't play, but at Kansas, like, you didn't have that expectation. Cincinnati, you didn't have that expectation. So it's a whole new feel for a lot of these guys. And, I think, it's going to take hopefully you get it fixed, and hopefully it just takes a little bit of time. And another thing, like everybody's taking a victory lap for this team losing a ball game. Notre Dame lost a series to Lipscomb this weekend. VMI beat Mississippi State. And Mississippi State was up 10-0, I think, in the game. They lost like 11-10. It's just like there's stuff like that happen. It's just college baseball. And it's the first weekend. Things are a little bit wonky. Everything's kind of new. The bats, it's just a whole different feel. It just takes time to really get into everything. You would hope, people get out of the gate hot. But for Tennessee, Cal Stark was about the only one. And then Blake Burke had a great game today. But it was kind of slow for Tennessee's bats.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Tennessee will win a national championship this year. Maybe I am. I don't know. But last year, everybody kind of laughed a couple weeks into the season that Ole Miss was number 1 preseason. And then look what happened after not the hottest of starts.
Yeah.
I did look at their schedule. I don't know why there were some weird losses in there, but it wasn't all that bad.
Yeah, Tennessee lost to Tennessee Tech last year. It happens. But Tennessee was in that game and should have won it. They just lost it due to errors. Having a routine bunt just thrown by the first baseman can't happen. They get the winning run off. It was a tough play at short, but you one hop them and you kind of olay the throw there, and you lose the ball game because you can't get hits.
Yeah. Let me be angry about something else.
Okay.
NCAA. What is going on?
I want to know who the blame is, because I want to be able to point fingers, because I want to say it is the NCAA, but part of me is like, why is this always happening at Tennessee? Like, who is in control in the compliance office?
Right, but like how? So I hope it's not Tennessee for this reason. Maui Huna had 27 people fly out there to watch him.
Yeah.
If Tennessee knew there was a chance he wasn't going to play, surely they wouldn't let that happen.
You think? Whoever's fault it is, if it's Tennessee's fault, they should foot that bill for everybody who went out there and just wasted their time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it seems that it's not necessarily transfer paperwork issues. That's what's being reported, not NIL. I've seen the rumor floated out there that it could be a tampering issue that NCAA is investigating. If that's the case, Tennessee should have known about it before now. And if Kansas is allowed to pick up the phone a week before the game and report somebody for that, then he should be playing.
Yeah.
And if you find wrongdoing then then you punish him going forward. You can't retroactively do it, because if I can pick up the phone and get any transfer on tampering, I'm calling. Just be ready and say Blake compliance. I'm calling on every transfer in the country anonymously, and you're going to have to investigate. So if that's the case, just be ready. Dave Van Horn, is going to be calling everyone. Prove it's not him.
Yeah, it just doesn't make, like, you get a free transfer. Why is this even a thing?
Yeah,
what is there to figure out? Like, he transferred to Tennessee. As long as he's eligible grade wise, he should play. Okay, there's nothing else that should. It's over.
And I mean, you can't punish one school for tampering if every school's doing it.
Oh yeah.
Also, if you are tampering, I hope the coach isn't texting the player. That'd be pretty easy to figure out. Hopefully, that's not what's going on.
Right. Yeah, you don't think there was any tampering when Henry To'oTo'o chose Alabama?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal. I mean, it's sickening. I mean, like, the NCAA is there to, like, make things better for the student athlete.
Yeah.
If they're at fault, they're making things worse. And if Tennessee's at fault, they're making things worse.
For sure. And you mentioned this has been an issue at Tennessee. You had Cade Mays, which that was before the 1 year rule, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But still, he should have been eligible. He was a grad transfer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Should have been.
It was the issues with Georgia. It had nothing to do with Tennessee.
And then you've got Urosh, who was also before the 1 year transfer, but he gets eligible halfway through the season. Then you have Brew McCoy, who you don't know of until like the week of.
Yeah.
Wasn't there someone last year too?
Well, Byron Young had to miss a game for some random junior college issue.
Right.
It's like, come on, guys. Like, why is this even why are we, like, hurting a player's career by a junior college issue? I mean, who cares? If he's eligible, if he's academically eligible, he should be able to play the sport. Especially now with the free transfer, what are we even doing?
Right. I'm very interested to see if it ever comes. It may never come out what the issue was. It may just be, oh, he's eligible now. Cool. I'm very interested to see if it is something, what it is, because I don't know if there's something that could make sense.
Yeah,
I really don't. You mentioned it. With the 1 year transfer rule, you're eligible. You've had since June to declare him ineligible if something was wrong. You haven't. He travels with the team. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, he was dressed ready to go, and then you got to tell him right before that he can't play. I mean, that, like, yeah, when was the news broke to the stat or this program? Like, oh, by the way, he can't play. Like, why are they just finding out now? Is another issue that I have. Not even the fact that he's ineligible. It's just like, why are we just now? Like, has this been since he's been on campus since like last summer?
Right. So
it can't be school. Like, he's in class. So yeah, I mean, it just, oh my God. I mean, he just signed an NIL deal with Weigels, and then, you know.
Oh man.
I mean, it looks like this keeps happening, and I don't know, like, what it is, because I don't keep up with every transfer for every school, but it just seems like there's a common occurrence with Tennessee players. And so, like, Tennessee's probably going to get hurt with some transfers. You know, they're like, well, why is there always issues with Tennessee transfers? I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
So
I'm so sick of the NCAA anyways. I'm already just tired from this weekend. But yeah, I'm glad I have someone else to hate. That makes me feel good. Other than that, don't know what to tell you.
Also, like, why is the NCAA still a thing? I mean, like, hasn't the SEC already proven that we're, you know, a higher power than the NCAA is now anyway?
Yeah, for sure. Just do that. Yeah. Just a middle finger. I mean, you see Virginia Tech just middle finger them today and bring the hammer out of the dugout for a home run.
Dude, that's another thing. Is like, people get so, like, the Christian Moore thing with the umpire. Everybody's like, well, they deserve it for how they acted last year. Guys, everybody in the freaking country has a home run prop. Everybody in the country bat flips. The only reason why it looks like Tennessee's the only one does it because we have so much national attention because we're on top of college baseball.
Yeah, and if you're you said it, if you're umpiring based on if you're being biased because of how a team acts, you shouldn't be umpiring.
That's your one job is to leave your emotions and feelings out of it.
Your job is to call balls and strikes, outs. That's it. Like your job is to officiate by the rule book, and that's all you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I mean, he's sitting there calling his time. I mean, like, okay, I get like we're trying to speed up the game, but like that one time is going to like make a huge difference in the game. And another thing that like with that rule is like, what are we trying to speed it up for? Like I understand like some games are like too long, but I thought like the run rule is supposed to like help that. So, like, why are we having, like, pitch clocks and, you know, getting the batter's box clock? And, I mean, isn't that, like, the beauty of baseball is, like, we didn't have a clock?
I'm one of those that baseball is hard to watch in the sense of there is, you know, breaks that aren't the best. And it can take a long time, not necessarily does. But so does football. So does college basketball when they're blowing the whistle every 5 seconds, 2 minutes late in the game. Don't make the product worse trying to fix something that's never really going to be fixed. Look, the MLB's been trying to do it for 10 years, and the games are still the same length. I think they've been cut down by 10 minutes.
When it's like, yeah, like the MLB is trying to like cut down on games going into extra innings. Those are the best games. No one wants to watch it like Tennessee beat up on Iona and beat them by 40 runs. I understand that. That's what you need a rule in place for that. Right. But like the pitch clock, like you're ruining the game. Like an actual game that ends 4-5, you know, in the 10th inning. Those are the best games.
There was actually I think it was this season, but I saw some complaining about it happened last season. I think it was Texas. I guess softball games are timed. They have to be done in an NCAA softball games have to be done X amount of time. And the Texas coach, I believe it was Texas, did a mound visit, comes back, and then brings on a new pitcher who took a minute and a half or 2 minutes to warm up. And by the time they ended up winning the game because of the clock. And that's just not that's not baseball softball.
Yeah.
It has innings. I mean,
you're ruining the game. But like I understand, like a pitcher shouldn't be able to just wait up there forever. Right. Understandable. And like batters, like I understand, like they have their routine, and like anything more is just like a little extra, like get in the box. But we're talking it's like a 3-2 count, and the guy's just standing there. So Christian Moore is calling time. Give him time.
Well, then I mean, this isn't even Tennessee specific, but can you not write rules that are, I mean, leave it up to the discretion of the umpire. If he feels like batter's taking too much time in between pitches, you get a warning, and then, you know, you can be called. Like, I feel like you can write rules to speed up the game without physically putting a time limit on it. Yeah.
Well, then Christian Moore said something, like he got walked, so it didn't matter. But he gets walked and he says something, and the ump's just like, what? It's like, dude, like do your job. And then he gives Arizona a phantom freaking time call, and Cal Stark is just like, who called time? And he's like, I don't know. It's like, what the hell is going on?
And this is a thing in soccer too. This pisses me off. You'll see late in games when people are time wasting, they're taking long to get the ball back into play, throw-ins, goal kicks, whatever it may be, and the ref tries to speed up the game. Then, well, in the first half, no matter how long someone takes, you'll never see anyone won for that. Why is that time so much more valuable? Why is that 10 seconds so much more valuable than the 10 seconds earlier in the game? Like, you have to be consistent in it too. So you better be doing the same thing in the first inning of the game than you are in the 6th and 7th too. It's so frustrating that people can just pick and choose when they want to call the game the way that's supposed to be called or the way they want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, just dumb. And people are just like, oh, yeah, it's all this. If I hear one more boomer response about their shenanigans, I mean, get your Dave Van Horn ass out of here.
Also, what shenanigans this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Virginia Tech can literally hit a freaking sledgehammer on the actual field, but we can't wear a fur coat. And Oklahoma State, what are they doing? They even copied Tennessee as wearing a fur coat.
Right. And I did like that. Listen, I like that Grand Canyon had some words towards Tennessee's dugout after. It makes it fun. But I didn't hear a word about that said. And if anyone did say a word, it would be, well, Tennessee talks trash. They deserve it, blah, blah. You can't have it both ways. You either say neither team can do it, neither team can be boisterous, or both teams can do it. You can't have it both ways. Either you got to be the mature, know how to win type of person, or vice versa. You can't have both. Sorry, you can't.
I mean, oh my God,
I liked it, man. I liked it. That final pitch, he had some words towards the Tennessee dugout. You earned it. Say it.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, going back to it wasn't Tennessee's pitching. That was the issue.
No, it certainly wasn't.
They only had 5 earned runs the entire weekend. But yeah, the Boomers can the whole integrity of the game, and then we're sitting here like Jim Schlossnagel for Texas A&M was just like, why is like college baseball the only sport that like changes their rules every single year? I mean, it's like that just takes the fun out. Like, you have to constantly relearn something else. I mean, it's just you're always – I mean, you saw it today, like, because we only got like the image of the batter's box because that was the only thing that the phone could get in its screen that they were recording on. But like, people were like scared to step out of the box and like rearrange their batting gloves because they're like, oh, they're going to call a ball or they're going to call a strike on me if I don't get in the box at a certain amount of time. I mean, it's not baseball.
Whatever. I guess we're going to deal with the season, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of like, I mean, I don't know if it's called time wasting in that scenario, but what's that, and what's targeting, and what is it? I don't know. I don't understand it. The NCAA is really good at making rules, though. They're really good at making rules.
They suck.
I want to know who's on these committees. Like, what coaches are letting these go into effect? What ADs? Who's letting this go into effect?
Yeah.
I'm sure we can figure it out, but I'm too lazy. So someone do that for me.
But yeah, Tennessee opens up in Lindsey Nelson on Tuesday. They play Alabama A&M on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then this weekend against Dayton. So be there, show up. Don't hit the panic button just yet. Give it time. Let's get Maui Ahuna eligible this week. Get him back in the lineup, and we'll see what happens. I just think that's going to increase this lineup. I mean, he's your best MLB prospect, not named Chase Dolander on this roster. So definitely want to get him back, and, Mitch Barnhart and Mitch McConnell can get bent.
All right. I
do
guess
have some good news.
Yeah, let's try to be happy.
Do have some good news. So Tennessee got a commit from the 2024 class, and Marcus Goree Jr. out of Cleveland, Tennessee, Bradley Central High School. Defensive back.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. One of the top prospects in the state of Tennessee. And, I just, number one, love getting defensive backs. And number two, love getting in-state kids. I mean, that's 3 already in this class. You got Caleb Beasley, Marcus Goree, and Carson Gentle. Close those borders, man. Love it. Also, I did forget to mention this, but I was thinking it last night during the game. I was like, did Josh Heupel just, suck all the offense out of every other sport that we have for football?
It seems like it's possible. It certainly seems like it's possible.
That's what it felt like. But Yeah, big commit. Go Bears, like you said. Runs a 4.4. Got to talk to his coach last night.
Yeah,
or one of his coaches.
That's the rumor out there. So expecting a lot.
Speed never had a bad day, Caleb.
I did just look up the rules committee. There is not there's not a single head baseball coach from a major conference on the rules committee.
I know one coach that will never be on any committee. And that's Tony Vitello. People just hate us, man.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I understand like the joy people get out of Tennessee losing, like the baseball team. Like everybody, like anytime we ever tweet anything about baseball, somebody's commenting like, y'all didn't win it last year. How about that Notre Dame loss? I mean, like, this is what Alabama feels like every year when they lose in football.
It's probably coming from fans who haven't won a championship.
Yeah.
You don't see Mississippi State fans and Ole Miss fans in Tennessee's mentions very often. So, actually, you don't see Florida very often either.
It's a lot of Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt gets in there and like, guys, we beat y'all 4 times last year.
Yeah, at least they've won a championship at some point. But let's, like you said, 4 times last year.
Wasn't that during COVID? So did it even count? No, I guess it was the year after COVID, which is still kind of COVID. So yeah, it doesn't count. Asher.
Are you talking about Vanderbilt?
Yeah, didn't they win?
Mississippi State won it. Mississippi State won in 21, right?
Okay, so who won it in 2019? Oh, it was Vanderbilt in 2019. That was when COVID just was starting. So yeah, but that's probably an asterisk too.
Oh, all right. Golly, I'm so
just done. Just over it.
Yeah. Saw Hamilton this weekend. That was good. It's about been the only bright spot.
Lady Vols beat Auburn today.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot already. Sorry. I'm sad. Sad day, bad day.
It was a bad day. But this weekend we'll be in Lindsey Nelson.
We'll be, yeah. Hopefully the weather's good. I haven't looked at it. I know it's supposed to be kind of cold, but I think at least sunny, so maybe that.
I know it's supposed to be nice like Wednesday and Thursday, but
I think I saw weekend was like, like 40-ish degrees, 50 degrees, but if it's sunny, it can be bearable for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I'm hoping for little rain this week. I'm over the rain. Very much over it.
I mean, my dogs haven't been able to go out back in like a year. It feels like. I mean,
Saturday and Sunday are 80% chances of rain. This sucks.
Maybe the weatherman is just as inconsistent as our basketball team, and they lied.
Yeah, maybe that's my hope.
You got any fan questions?
I don't think I have any. We may have some, and I didn't record them down, but yeah, I'm gonna pull up here, run through. I do have. This isn't a most important or a fail, but I did want to talk about it during segments. Did you see the recruiting budgets tweet that got sent out by someone? Fox College Football top 2022 recruiting budgets. Georgia came in at $4.5 million, A&M 2.98, Tennessee 2.92, Texas 2.44, Alabama 2.32. Didn't Texas spend like $1 million? Wasn't that reported on like Archie's? Like Archie came to town. It wasn't just him, but that weekend that Archie came to town, didn't they say they spent $1 million on that weekend alone? Do you remember something like that being said?
For Archie?
Not just for Archie, but he came into town. I'm sure big recruits.
Okay, you're Arch. Yeah. Okay, I was like, they did it for his grandpa. That's weird.
Sorry.
No. I got you.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. Where's that coming out of? I guess.
Oh, sorry. Okay, it wasn't $1 million. It was $280,000. Still, though, one weekend cost you $280,000.
Well, how much
And
did
you're
Ole
only
Miss
spending
spend
another
on
$2 million.
the field when they put Manning in the end zone when he came?
That was for Eli. Pump the brakes. That was for Eli.
Shit.
Also, Alabama's only spending 2.32. Like 2 weeks ago, we saw Nick Saban travel in the country in a helicopter. Get out of here. That's not all you spent.
What was it when what were we watching when he was like, oh, Brandon Miller had a Dodge Charger.
Yeah.
It's
That was
like
his favorite car, right?
yeah, okay.
I agree, Austin. I think it was this is Mandela effect. I'm pretty sure I saw more than that initially.
They
Also,
took it to inflation. So
Georgia, that might be a little skewed upwards because it turns out their recruiting coordinators all just drive the rental cars. They're just throwing mileage on those rental cars. They use them for personal things. So, yeah.
Also, like, how much did Texas A&M spend last year on just their recruiting class in general?
Landon, that's not recruiting. That's NIL. There's a difference.
Okay.
Yeah. Be careful. Be careful. You can call in anonymously. You can call in a tip. You want to call in with me? Well,
yeah.
start throwing around accusations.
Don't transfer back to Tennessee.
Is that someone specifically?
No, it was more of just like you won't be eligible anyway. So
Tennessee, we need another $2 million in that budget. By the way.
Yeah, it's like you just won a national championship. Why are you spending that much money?
They want to win again. Well, I mean,
because
they're going to be the underdogs again. I mean,
Kirby Smart has to pay for all those bowl cuts that he gets and drive a helicopter to freaking Chattanooga. It's like, dude, get a freaking car.
I don't blame him, dude. If I could travel like that, I would too. So much easier. Have you driven from Atlanta to Chattanooga? Not fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess he's Athens to Chattanooga, but you get it.
Still. I mean, somebody's going to drive for you. Why does it even
Oh, is he like Adam Schefter level?
Oh, yeah. He never drives. Oh, I will say this. If I had that kind of money, I would never drive again either. I don't understand why these freaking athletes are just going 200 miles an hour on a freeway. It's like, dude, just or getting DUIs or manslaughter charges on. It's like, dude, just freaking have somebody, just pay them $20. They'll just drive you wherever you want them to go. Uber's a great thing.
If there's an athlete, I'll be your full-time driver.
Yeah.
If there's anyone looking for one, let me know. Holler at me.
Yeah, if you want to pay me what I make now, sure, I'll do that.
I have another. Oh, I guess we'll follow it. Most important first.
All right, let's see.
You have anything?
Trey Smith with the 0 sack shirt in the Super Bowl parade was pretty cool.
The 0 sack shirt?
Yeah, because, Philadelphia, that was the thing. We lead the NFL in the most sacks ever and didn't have a single one against injured Patrick Mahomes.
I saw where people were blaming the field for that. Wouldn't it be a lot harder to block on a slick field? Wouldn't you think?
Maybe.
I mean, I think both would be equally.
Yeah,
hard,
both hard.
But one, you're almost exclusively putting your foot in the ground to block. Like you need the footing.
Yeah, I guess sometimes there is like that. If you get some hands on them and they're going to slip anyway, it's like, how good do you actually have to block?
I guess that's true. Yeah. Like I said, I think both are equally hard. I just thought maybe one was harder than the other, but maybe not.
Any more most important?
I was going to give a fail to the XFL, but I will give a shout out to the Houston Rough Riders, I believe. I like the helmets. I dig the helmets. I don't know if you saw them, but people listening. Blue, I believe, on one side, and then half red on the left side, half white. I do think they ripped off the Oilers logo, so that's interesting.
Yeah. I would like the XFL. I think it's never going to be college football, NFL, but I definitely think it could have a niche. Like, it wasn't just the worst football I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's better than was it the AAFL? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
It was better than that. My biggest problem with it is what I told you last night. I think they're trying to hit the wrong markets. I don't think they're.
Yeah, they need to do in different cities.
I know they want to be in the bigger cities because they think that's going to be the biggest draw, more to do, but they're still going to be competing with either NBA basketball or later into the year MLB, and then just competing with the big city typical more things to do. Whereas I think even like a big city where the only other thing they have is NBA, like Memphis, I thought would have been a good one. Are they in Birmingham? You know? I
don't remember.
Like Birmingham would be a great city. Maybe Knoxville would be good for it. Knoxville already kind of has a niche in like the Ice Bears. I think Knoxville will latch on to the Smokies when they move to town. There's already a lot of Smokies fans in Knoxville, anyways. I think with the stadium being closer, that'll be even bigger. I like St. Louis. I think St. Louis is a good town to do it in, since they don't have a pro football team. Like Seattle, that just doesn't make much sense to me. Houston, we talked about that last night. DC,
we mentioned Orlando is a good one.
Orlando would be a good one. I especially in pretty much any city without a pro team would be a good landing spot, I think. So, yeah, whatever. I will say the fact that The Rock's in charge, I would bet on them to survive at least.
So is he like the sole owner of it? I don't know much about it. I do know it was really cool that Martavius Bryant had his first catch in 5 years last night in the XFL. That was a name I hadn't heard in a long time.
I think he is.
Okay.
I think so. So yeah, San Antonio might be a good city. There is one in Orlando. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, they were playing last. That's who played last night. Yeah,
I couldn't remember if that's why. No, we watched. What time did they play? We watched the Houston Arlington game, didn't we? Oh no, did they play?
It was Orlando. It was Orlando.
Okay,
yeah.
It was in Houston though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about Louisville being a good one. That'd be a good spot, probably.
Louisville, I think Louisville or Lexington would be a good one.
Yeah.
Either of those cities. I don't know if Lexington would be. I guess you'd have to use Kentucky Stadium. I don't know if you'd be able to do that, but I don't even know where the stadiums they're using are. Was Houston in
Orlando? I would think would probably be UC, like the Bounce House, maybe. Houston, would it be at the University of Houston? Surely they're not using the Texans, right?
I think that's where the original XFL team was.
Okay.
Was in University of Houston Stadium. That might have been the USFL though. I don't know. No, USF. There was
It'd be cool to have one in Savannah, like the Savannah Bananas.
Dude, they're going national now.
Oh, are they? Are they going to be like the Harlem Globetrotters, like baseball?
I think they're still going to have a season in Savannah, but yeah, they're doing. I think they're calling it a world tour. I think they're on the road right now. They're playing in Nashville, I think. I don't know I think it's like 40 cities, 20 cities maybe.
Do they play
the same team every time. I don't know their name, but it's like
so it is the Harlem Globetrotters.
It is the Harlem Globetrotters model, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Arlington plays in Choctaw Stadium. No idea what that is. Used to be the home of the Texas Rangers. DC Defenders are playing at the DC United Soccer Stadium. Interesting. Houston is in the Houston Cougar Stadium. Orlando's in Camping World. So that's the Citrus Bowl.
Okay. Is that the only thing it's used for?
I don't know. I think so. And Orlando SC, I'm pretty sure. MLS
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I think they built their own stadium since then, but they did play there. So I guess, now it is.
How many, is there like 4 LA teams? I mean, I don't know why, but LA just gets everything.
There's not an LA team. There is a Vegas team.
Really?
Yeah. San Antonio's in the Alamo Dome, which is UTSA, I think. the Seattle team's in the Seahawks stadium.
See, I just feel like you wouldn't have enough fans to fill a.
I mean, even that game last night, you could tell there were only like maybe 5,000 people.
Right.
Vegas is in the Cashman Field. Las Vegas Lights FC. I don't know what they play, what league they play in. USFL maybe? I don't know. Or USFL. Not that.
EPL.
Yeah, definitely EPL. Good God, I can't think of it. It's what one Knox is going to play in. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, of course. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, if I was going to bet on, I would love to get into it, but I just don't care about it. It hadn't been sold to me, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. All right. Any fails? Joe Dillon, if y'all have any fails or most important, y'all can hop in here too. I don't really have. I was just.
I don't know what happened.
Just shocked. I just didn't screenshot anything.
Right.
I do think, and you'll probably have more synopsis on this, but the new golf show on Netflix, I watched the first episode today, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm not even a golf fan, and it's really cool.
Yeah, they did a really good job producing it. I'm interested to see kind of how they do season 2 because they didn't follow. You'll learn. I mean, they did the PGA Championship was the opening one, which is in July, maybe. It's well after the beginning of the season. They don't follow the timeline like Drive to Survive does. They are telling story like individual stories. So the first episode was Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. Second one is I can't remember who, but it follows their storyline. So I'm interested to see what season 2 looks like because apparently they've already started filming for it. So yeah, I'm curious, but it's really good.
Yeah,
I've already finished it. I binged it. I do want to go back and watch it because I did kind of like background listen to it. I didn't watch the full thing, so I would like to go back and watch it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if it keeps on doing this, I might have to get into golf with you, man.
Pickups. I mean, you already need to, but yeah.
Here's the thing, y'all always like give me shit anyway. I don't know if I could be that bad at something and just like in front of you guys.
You play basketball with us.
Oh yeah, but I'm way better than Dylan. That's true, Dylan. Dylan did say, "Have you seen me play softball?" That's facts.
You just listen. Part of golf is just being bad, but you'll hit one good shot and that'll keep you coming back.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm just gonna do it for fun.
You play Fortnite. I mean, yeah, for sure. You play Fortnite though too, and I've played Fortnite with you. You're pretty bad at that.
Yeah, I'm not great. I get told by a guy that I play with in streams that I'm bad all the time. I'm like, dude, why do you even play with me then? If I'm that bad, why do you even play?
I will say you're really good at staying alive, which is a bonus.
See, that's what I'm there for. I'm there for support, and like if you need a med kit, dude, I got you.
See, I'm just dumb. You're smart. You do play smart. I'll give you that credit.
Yeah,
play smart. Which, hey, if that carries over to golf, that's kind of half the battle. You got to fight those. I think they would be typically known as like masculine traits, where you're going for like the hero shot. If you play smart.
Yeah, when me and Dylan play, we get top 10 every time because we both play pretty similar. Like we're not just gonna fly somewhere just to get kills. Like I'm trying to win that thing. If I have 2 kills at the end and I win, hey, I just won. I get that crown, baby, that VR, and nothing like it.
Survive and advance. Name of the game.
Name of the game. You got a fail?
No, but didn't Quentin Dormany throw a touchdown last night?
Did he really?
I think he did. If it didn't score, he hit a wide open guy. So if he didn't score, I don't think I saw the whole play. That's bad.
Good for him.
Who's he playing for again?
I thought he was playing for Orlando. I thought it was like the green and white team.
Couldn't remember when we saw him playing. Yes. No, I don't think I've ever laid up in my life, Austin. So, opposite of that, if I read it right.
So if you got to steal up 2 points, would you dunk it or lay it up?
Yeah, I want the glory. I'm padding. I'm here to pad the stats.
Or are you dribbling it out?
I'm here to pad the stats. Yeah, he played for Orlando. I don't know if he threw a touchdown last night or not.
Okay. I thought I did have a fail, but I guess I don't.
I was watching. I do think it is not a great product for how we were watching it. Sorry to stay on this. I was watching a little bit of it with sound, and it is a little bit better. Because
Okay, yeah, with
like
no
all,
sound.
we're all mic'd up. So you're hearing the players and coaches talking during the game. So it is a little bit of a different product than just standard football. So I will say that, Ellie. It's not a bar type watch for sure.
And do they all like? What is the schedule like? Is that Saturday, Sunday? Like, do you know?
Yeah, two
Okay.
games Saturday and 2 Sunday. It looked like.
And that's it.
Quentin Dormady threw a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Yeah, they only have 8 teams. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, well, guys, thanks for listening. Stay tuned tomorrow. We will have the bat flip, talking about everything Tennessee baseball. Yeah, just not a great weekend overall, but we'll be back better than ever. Y'all have a good Monday. I know the Sunday scares are sitting in, so have a good Monday, and we're bringing the boat in, and we out.